Ch18. We had asked one of the attendants to call us at the first sign of daybreak, and almost before I knew it, there came a rap at the door. We all bounded out of bed, so eager were we to see the first break of day from our lofty perch. We were dressed in no time and went rushing out on the roof like 3 eager schoolboys. In fact, the noises we made so startled the attendants that they rushed up to see if we were really in our right minds. I suspect the noise the 3 of us made was more noise than had ever disturbed the peaceful quiet of the old temple since the days it was built, and this we learned was more than 10,000 years ago. In fact, it was so old that it looked a part of the rock upon which it rested. When we arrived on the roof, there was no need to ask for quiet. One look, and my 2 associates' eyes and mouths went wide open. I suspect had anyone looked at mine, they would have seen the same. I waited for them to speak. Almost in one breath came the exclamation, "Why, we are surely suspended in mid-air." They said the sensation was exactly like that I had experienced in the other temple. They had forgotten for a moment that there was anything under the feet, and the sensation was that they were floating in mid-air. One remarked, "I do not wonder that these men can fly after experiencing this." We were aroused from our reveries by a laugh, and all turned to find Emil, Jast, and our friend of the records standing close behind us. One of my associates walked up quickly to them, tried to grasp all their hands at once, and said, "This is wonderful. We do not wonder you are able to fly after you have been here for a time." They smiled, and one said, "You are as free to fly as we. You only need to know that you have the power within to do so. Then use the power." We then turned to the outlook. The fog had lowered and was floating in great billowy waves just high enough so that not a foot of land could be seen anywhere, and the movement of the banks of fog all around gave the sensation that we were being carried on noiseless wings along with the fog. Standing there looking far out, one lost sense of anything underfoot, and it was very difficult to believe that we were not floating in space. As I looked out, it seemed as if my body lost all sense of weight and that I was actually floating above the roof. I had so far forgotten myself that when one of the party spoke, my feet hit the roof with such force that I felt the effects of the jar for several days after. At breakfast that morning, we decided to stay over for 3 days, as we expected to visit only one other place of interest before going on to the appointed meeting place. Upon reading the messages Emil had brought, we learned that our chief's party had visited this temple only 3 days before. After breakfast, we went out and found the fog gradually clearing. We watched it until it cleared entirely, and the sun came up. We could see the little village nestling close in under the cliff, and the valley far below. Our friends decided to visit the village, and we asked if we might go with them. They laughed and said we could, but they thought we had better use the basket, as we would present a better appearance than if we attempted their mode of travel. So we lowered one by one to the ledge, then down to the little plateau just above the village.